the art of drawing without an eraser. This quote means to me that in our lives we have a lot of potential to be creative, and although we are not given a eraser, we are often going to experience a lot of negative things that we cannot fix. We're going to learn and become to adapt and create these positive successes instead. I started thinking about this quote a lot once I started researching my personality styles, and I realized how big connecting to people and being positive was in my life. Hello, my name is Sierra, and today I'm going to be talking about how I am a connector, and later on I'm going to be talking about how I am a planner. First, with me being a connector, I have 3 traits. I am creative, I am optimistic, and I am very friendly. Starting off with being creative, creative means to me that you are utilizing your resources that you have in a very unique way to create success. A good example of me utilizing this trait was when I worked as a preschool teacher. I was assigned to do a bunch of different crafts and tasks with my class, but was given very limited resources. Paper plates, paint, your basics. But I still managed to create a lot and very fun crafts with my class. The second trait of being a connector is being optimistic. Being optimistic to me is, in any situation you have the ability, even in a negative one, to always look at the bright side of things. A good example of me using this trait was also in my career of being a preschool teacher. Often kids would come up to me with a piece of paper and it had been scribbled on. It was the end of the world. It could never be fixed. They were screaming, they were crying. And I would often show them that you can turn a negative situation into something very positive instead. My third and final trait of being a connector is being friendly. Being friendly to me is someone who has the ability to always be excited and want to experience new things with new people. A good example of me being friendly is at my new job at SeaWorld. I have only been there about a month or so now, but have made so many new friends by going out of my way to make them. Being a connector to me is like being a deserted island. It reminds me that we only have limited resources, but we need to utilize them in a creative and very positive way to succeed. When I was a child, I often would go to the beach pretty much every day, every single day. And although the beach has a lot of activities to do, I got bored going every single day. So I used my creative trait and I took a look around me, the resources I had. At the beach you really only have sea grape leaves, palm fronds, and sticks. But using this trait, I've combined them all together and used them in a creative way to create extraordinary and pretty fun crafts. Using my other 2 traits of being friendly and optimistic, I actually decided to sell these and make a profit off of them. Now that we've talked about me being a connector, I'd like to move on to me being a planner. Me being a planner, I have 3 traits of that I like to plan ahead, I like to complete my tasks, and that I am very organized. Starting off with planning ahead means to me that you know throughout your day every detail of what you're going to do before you do it, so you are prepared. A good example of me utilizing this trait is that every single week I pretty much plan out what I'm going to get for my groceries, what I estimate the cost is going to be, pretty much, and if all of this is going to stay under our budget. My second trait is going to be task completion. Task completion means to me I need to finish a task before I start another one. A great example is at my job at SeaWorld, I need to complete tasks in order for the whole job to flow and everything to go smoothly. I can't load people in and then expect it's all just going to go. I have to open the door. Something needs to be completed. My third and final trait of being a planner is that I'm very organized. Organized means to me that everything is aesthetically in its right place and everything is properly in its right place it needs to be in order for everything to function properly. A great example of me being organized is that I have a planner. on every Monday, I take that day, I plan out everything that's going to happen in that week so that I know exactly what I'm going to need for that day, what I'm going to do that day so that I am prepared. Being a planner to me is like being an alarm clock. It's precise, it knows what to do when it's supposed to do it, and it's just always on time. When I graduated, I knew I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to stay where I had lived previously for 18 years, so I wanted to move out. But I knew moving out would take a lot of work. I would need to plan appointments to see apartments. I would need to figure out what rent I could afford, how much I could save up before I went there. So I did all of that. I completed it in about 2 months. I saved up, and I now currently live in Orlando, Florida. Now that we have talked about me being a connector and how I could turn this into this by using my traits, and how I was a planner, and how I now currently live in Orlando, Florida thanks to that, we started off with life is the art of drawing without an eraser. And without an eraser, we're going to make a lot of mistakes, a lot of regrets, but I'd like you all to keep in mind that sometimes our biggest mistakes give us our greatest reward.
Count 2 on 3.